Hello there, Stephanie Barnard for Sizzix, and I have a great card that I'd like to share with you today. Here it is. It's a flip it card, and when it's closed it says happy birthday, and when you open it up it says celebrate. But I think the most exciting part about it is that it moves when you open it up. Now it looks a little complicated, but I assure you this is so incredibly easy to create. Let me show you. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to use this die here. It is called a flip it card, and it's called the ornate flip it. So we're going to get that out, and this is what the die looks like. And I'm going to use My Mind's Eye paper. I love My Mind's Eye paper. They have the best designs, and they even have coordinating colors and designs on the back. So they're perfect for flip it cards. So I'm going to use this design here, and I'm going to get out my Big Kick machine. Now the Big Kick machine is a fantastic machine by Sizzix, and it's a wonderful die cutter. So I'm going to get my die, and then I need 2 cutting pads. These come with the machine. I'm going to put one down first, then I'm going to take my die. Then I'm going to take my beautiful pattern paper and lay that down on top of my die. And then I'm going to take my second cutting pad. So I'm making like a sandwich. And I'm going to run that through the machine. Now the nice thing about this is the die is cutting and scoring at the same time. So I don't have to pull out any special tools or anything like that. I'm just going to use my die cut machine. So now I'm going to take this card. And I realize that it's hard to see, but there are score lines here on the card. And I'm going to make 2 folds. I'm going to fold it in half and fold it back. And now I have the beginning of my flip it card. Look at how beautiful that is with that pattern paper, how it just kind of totally makes the card itself. So let's decorate this card. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to create the banners from the front of this card. Now I got the banner dies from this set here. It's a framelit and stamp set. So it comes with coordinating stamps as well as coordinating dies. So the first thing I need to do is I'm going to get this die right here, and I'm going to cut that out of pattern paper. So I'm going to get that die, and I better get the stamps out now too, because I'm going to use those in a couple minutes. So I have those stamps, and I'm going to find that die in my envelope here. Here it is. And I'm going to cut 3 different banners. Now I love to use coordinating pattern paper, so I'm going to grab some of those, and I'm also going to use some scrap paper, because framelit dies are perfect for scrap paper because you can see exactly where you're cutting. So I need 3, so let's see, we're going to do 2 of these. Now this time we're going to use our extended multi-purpose platform. We're going to use the entire platform completely closed. So I'm going to lay that down. Then I'm going to lay a cutting pad down, and then I'm going to get my paper, and I can even cut 2 at a time. So I'm going to take this die. Now the nice thing about these dies is the cutting edge is on the very inside of the die. So when I turn this over, I know exactly where I'm cutting. So I'm going to lay this down, and then I'm going to take my second cutting pad, and I'm going to run this through the machine. That's how easy it is. Now I was tricky, and I cut out 2 banners at the same time because I'm trying to save time. So look at that, cut 2. Now I do need 3, so I'm just going to take the second piece and I'm going to run that through again. That's how easy it is. And I can run the machine back through the opposite way. Simple, simple. Great. Now I have that 3rd banner ready to go, but I'm going to flip this one over so I use the other side. Now I'm going to stamp happy birthday. So I'm going to take that from this set. It's on this set, and I'm going to grab an acrylic block and adhere that to the acrylic block. It just falls right on there and it sticks, which is fantastic. And I'm going to grab some ink and I'm going to stamp my banner. So it's going to say happy birthday. And I'm just going to stamp that right there. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut out the inside. Now the inside has some yellow cardstock, and I have a piece right here, and I'm also going to be using this framelit set that coordinates, look at that, it coordinates with my flip it card. So that is fantastic. So I have the die here, and the nice thing about framelits, as I've already mentioned, is they're perfect for scrap paper. So I'm going to use this scrap paper, and you might think, Stephanie, it's not going to fit on there. But if you notice, look at that. I know that I'm going to be safe using this paper. So I'm going to lay that down, and I'm going to grab my second cutting pad, and I'm going to run that through the machine. That's how easy this is. So simple. Now I'm going to want to stamp on this as well. So we're going to take a look at this, and on this one I stamped celebrate. So I'm going to stamp celebrate. Again, I'm going to peel off my stamps. Now to clean your stamps, you can just use cheap baby wipes. It's my favorite way to clean them. and they're good to go. And I'm just going to store it back on its original sheet that it came on. So I'm going to ink that Celebrate, and I'm going to stamp that right about here. Let's stamp that one in, well, let's see. This one's over here off to the side, so let's do that. So we'll stamp it there. And then you'll notice that I have this cute little border here at the bottom. Now that came actually from a different set. It has other items as well. It has other stamps and other framelits, but I'm using this border right here on the side. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out. It's with this set. I always keep my stamps and matching framelits together because that way I know exactly where everything is. And I'm just going to simply run that through the machine. Now, if I wanted to, and I would have thought ahead, I could have cut these dies at the same time. So I could have cut the border and the banners at the same time. So if you're thinking ahead, then you can cut them at the same time, which even is more of a time saver. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some adhesive. And I always put scrap paper underneath me when I'm adding adhesive to small pieces. That way, I don't get adhesive on my desk. So I've added that, and I'm going to lay this down right here at the bottom, but you'll notice that my border is a little too big, but that's okay. I'm going to lay it down first, then I'm going to turn it over, then I'm going to use my scissors and use the straight edge of this die cut right there, and I'm just going to trim that off. That's how easy it is. That way I kind of get a nice even cut. So now I'm going to add this to the inside of my card. I'm going to open it up. This is for the inside, and I'm going to just lay that down. Now, because they coordinate, these dies all coordinate, I know it's going to fit perfectly on that card. So going back to the front, what we're going to do now is we're going to cut out these flowers. Now, these are felt flowers, and you're probably thinking, oh, wow, you know, that's a lot of felt to be hand cutting. Oh, don't worry, I'm not hand cutting. I am using a flower die set that looks like this, flower framelits. And I have tons of different shapes, tons of different sizes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of the smaller ones, and I'm going to grab one right here. And then I'm going to grab some felt. Now you can't use standard regular craft felt. You're going to want to use wool felt because wool felt is thicker and it allows you to use these dies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this wool felt out, and you can see that I have a lot of scrap here. So I'm going to make sure I utilize that to the best of my ability. So we're going to do one there, and we want to do one here, and I want to add some leaves. So let's find that envelope again and get some leaves out of it. But we're not going to be able to get those in the first pass. We'll have to get that in the second pass. Okay, so now let's get our cutting pad, and we're going to run these through the machine. So now I'm going to get 2 flowers. And it's a little thicker, so you kind of got to push it in there, but it will go. Look at that. So now I'm cutting out felt with my framelit dies. Isn't that fantastic? So there's one little flower. Let's find that other blue one. There's a blue flower. Now I don't know if I'm going to have room on here for another flower, so let's see. I can kind of move this around a little bit. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. I think I might be able to fit it. Look at that. Look at that. And because I know exactly where I'm cutting, I will know. I might miss 1 or 2, but it's going to be worth it. So we're going to run it. So the nice thing about these is literally I am using really my scraps, aren't I? So I'm going to run that through. And I think I might have gotten it on there. Look at that. Look at that. Fabulous. Woo! Okay, so now let's add the other little brown flower, and we're going to add our green leaves. So let's find our green felt, and you can see I'm really utilizing all of my green felt on there. So I'm going to line that up, and in the interest of time, I'm just going to cut out a couple green leaves, but you'll definitely get the idea, won't you? So I'm just going to run that through, and that one moved a little, but it's safe. There we go. So can you imagine all the possibilities cutting out felt? How fun is that? So we're just going to cut out one for now. So now we have those. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring our mat back. And isn't it fun? Crafting always gets a little messy, but it's all worth it. So now what I want to do is I want to build my flowers. And I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to grab a piercing tool. And I'm just going to make a little tiny hole in the center there. And I'm going to make a little tiny hole in the center there, and I'm going to grab some brads. So I have a stash of brads back here. So I'm just going to grab 2 right there. And I'm going to add my little brad right there and open the legs on the back. Just that simple. And on this one again, I'm going to just make my little holes using my piercing tool. There we go. And I'm gonna add my other little brad right there. Now look at how adorable these flowers are. So simple, no scissors required. Aren't those adorable, beautiful flowers? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish our card because we're almost done, can you believe it? We're gonna just add some adhesive to the back of these banners. So quick and easy. And we're just gonna line those up. And I like to put the sentiment on the top. So I'm gonna kind of line these up a little bit and then add that one to the top. And then I'm gonna use some aggressive adhesive for my felt, because if I don't and I just use standard adhesive, they might fall off. So I wanna use some really aggressive adhesive there. So I'm gonna add my cute little flower there. Now, because when I open this card up, you'll notice that I have kind of the back of the flower there. I'm gonna add my second flower right on top of that first flower. That way, I'm not looking at the back of a flower. I'm just looking at another flower, just like that. Now, just for kicks, I am gonna add one of my little green leaves. Now, you could probably cut out more leaves than this, but I know you didn't wanna watch me cut out a whole bunch of leaves. So now we have our card already done. Happy birthday. Open that up, celebrate, ready to go. So the next time you're thinking, gosh, I wanna make a card, but I want it to be extra fantastic, definitely think about those fantastic Flip It cards. Thanks so much, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.